Hello, my name is Zachary, and in this fourth video we're going to discuss how male infertility impacts relationships. Oftentimes, male infertility has a negative effect on not just the man and not just the woman, but on both partners. And this can be very difficult. So we're going to provide some tips on recognizing the problem and hopefully help provide solutions. Oftentimes, male infertility and the treatments that are provided can often lead to embarrassment or shame, as was previously mentioned in this video. This embarrassment and shame often have negative impacts on the relationship and are an important aspect considering the health of that relationship. Women have reported in studies that they often feel emotionally, psychologically hurt, even when the men are the ones who are infertile. They often report that the very aspect of being a woman is challenged. Their role in that relationship is challenged by not having children. And this happens regardless whether the woman has the problem or the man. That's why, in many respects, it's really a couple or a relationship problem and not just a man's. Men have a very different take, typically, in issues of male infertility. They often focus on how their partner reacts. As a woman becomes very distressed, the man tends to focus on the woman's emotional distress. However, this causes an imbalance in how they handle the infertility. The man ignores the medical aspects of their own physical health and instead solely focuses on the emotional health of the woman. This can often lead to the woman taking control over the medical, and it causes an imbalance in their relationship. Because of the way that men focus on the women's aspect, there is an opportunity that becomes available in that it opens potentially a conversation between the partners in the relationship, and this helps facilitate a better, healthy relationship with the conversation. However, the negatives might outweigh the positives in this situation. Another aspect that leads to this power inequality in the relationship is that women often end up having the medical procedures even if the man is infertile. Case in point is IVF, where the woman is going through the procedure even though the man is infertile. This can cause definite strain in the relationship and should be recognized. And now some important tips on how to keep the relationship strong. The first one is very simple. Pay attention to each other. Often you can see signs of a strained relationship, and if there is a problem with infertility, it can be easily addressed by my next point, which is have good open conversations. So as previously mentioned, this is very important to keeping a strong relationship. If you're struggling at having a very good conversation, you don't know how to approach it, we always recommend counseling. It's a wonderful tool that can be used to help strengthen the relationship and keep you both on track to having a happy, healthy life. Thank you so much. Now our next segment is going to be on how to handle infertility. Thank you. So, one of the things I do want to talk about is how this stuff impacted my relationship with my wife. It was very difficult in terms of dealing with the medical aspects, knowing that some of these processes would include my wife going through a fair amount of pain and certainly uncomfortable situations. And to be fair, she's kind of an old pro at it, far more than I am, of course, but still, the problem basically was on my side that she had to go through the difficult medical procedures. So there was a certain amount of guilt and
that did play into our relationship. I think it could be easy to just dismiss it. Oh, well, she's the one having the baby, so this is her deal. Um, so I think the key for us was just having conversations. We talked a lot about where we were at, make sure we're on the same page, make sure we both still want children. Um, so there were a lot of conversations. Um, I made it a point to always, always, always go to her medical appointments. I was there with her during the insemination process. Um, we tried to make it about us as much as possible. Of course, there's no way to fully integrate yourself into a process that's for her, but at least emotionally, I was there as much as I could be. Um, and I think those were the main keys to maintaining a good, healthy relationship between the two of us. Um, to be honest, it's been more difficult since we've had the child. As any parent will attest, it's a difficult process being a parent. Um, but we've always approached it with open communication. I think that's the most important thing. That worked for us very, very well. Um, yeah. So I think, once we got to a place where we decided to do invert IVF, we'll just say IVF, just to make it easy on me. Once we decided to do IVF, we had the conversation, of course, about choosing the donor. We had conversations about the process. One of the things we found very difficult was talking to a doctor. My wife seemed to always be on the same page, know exactly what the doctor was saying, yet he was speaking way too fast for me. I think in retrospect, I should have slowed him down and asked more questions instead of waiting and just asking my wife after the appointment. Um, but that aside, that was really important and helpful through the process.